What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of the 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. We've been talking on the YouTube channel about World War III, guys, and this title at this point in time and what we could maybe very well see in the future. And I want to go ahead and talk about World War III in a little bit more depth, guys, in this segment of the show from more of a competitive perspective, an esports perspective. You guys know we talk about esports a lot on this YouTube channel, and we talk about the future of games on this channel as well. And so I want to go ahead and talk about that, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. World War III, guys, let's get into it. So, guys, obviously World War III, it's a tactical online multiplayer first-person shooter, and this is a title, guys, that I've played, and, really, at the end of the day, I've enjoyed it overall. Now, there's been a couple of things I've been a little bit critical of when it comes to World War III. The main one is that it's only on PC. It's not on consoles as well, and I'm a console gamer, guys, for the most part. I do like playing on PC somewhat, but I prefer playing on console. I grew up playing console, and so that's what I prefer. And so when I'm not able to play a first-person shooter on the console, it's one of those things that, obviously it kind of, lowers my expectation, or I guess, lowers my excitement for it overall. Obviously you have to take that with a pinch of salt, guys, because some of you may be PC gamers out there and you primarily play on PC, and so you may very well enjoy this in a major way. What I will tell you, though, is that overall, I really like World War III. I think overall it's a really interesting and pretty cool experience, and I think over time, this could be something really special from the Farm 51 and my games. And so let's talk about from a competitive perspective. First off, guys, this is a title that a lot of people are starting to try to dub this the COD killer or the battlefield killer. And I've talked about this on the YouTube channel. You guys can check out all of my World War III content here. But really, at the end of the day, guys, I don't believe that this is a COD killer. I don't believe it's a battlefield killer, at least at this point in time. And here's why. If you want to compare World War III to one of those titles, it's definitely more like Battlefield than Call of Duty. Obviously, it's, relatively, when we talk about larger maps, when we talk about vehicles and things of that nature, I guess you could maybe compare it to Call of Duty Warzone somewhat, but I really feel, though, guys, that it's a little bit more in the realm of that of Battlefield. And so could this be a Battlefield killer? At this point, no, guys. But could it be over time? And that's something I want to talk about here. So obviously, guys, when we talk about the competitive scene of any title out there, you think of Call of Duty, you think of some of these big FPS titles out there, Valorant, CSGO, the list goes on and on, right? Well, Battlefield has been a title I've been very critical of from the perspective of esports and from a competitive scene. I look at Call of Duty just as an example, guys, and I know it's a title that comes out every single year, but there's a reason why it's the best-selling game every single year. It's because of the personalities and because of the community behind it that's really built it over time. And I believe that the Call of Duty esports scene has actually built Call of Duty in a major way, like just overall, when we look at the grand scope of what Call of Duty is at this point. Now, sure, it started off as like casual gamers, but then it really became like this competitive ordeal with, teams like, Optic and FaZe and Envy really built the scene in a major way. Whether we're talking from a competitive perspective or we're talking, FaZe with trick shotting, there was all kinds of different ways that you could connect with Call of Duty. And I still think to this day, guys, that it's one of the strongest communities when we talk about personalities. Halo Infinite, obviously, guys, has some very great personalities as well. And Halo did back in the day, and a lot of those guys transferred over to Call of Duty. So what I'm getting at here is that Call of Duty has a very rich history of esports, but I think that part of the sales and part of like the culture that was built at Call of Duty was built around esports. on the flip side of this, we look at Battlefield, and it feels to me that Battlefield just they couldn't really figure out a good way to do esports. And to me, I think it was a major misfire, and I think that really they needed to focus more resources on the esports scene. We're having this issue right now with Call of Duty and the Call of Duty League currently, but with Battlefield, it always felt like this could be a competitive game. It could be a competitive esport, whether they wanted to have, a competitive rank list where, the maps are a little bit smaller, or even if it's larger, like, kind of like Warzone or Battlefield's Firestorm or whatever it is, guys, they could create an esports scene around this, or a competitive scene around it, and that could really build narratives and things of that nature that could make it really special. And I feel like it's been a major misfire with EA. Activision obviously has had its issues, and there's no question about it, but at least they have an esports scene that was built from all these incredible people behind the scenes. That being said, that leads us to World War III here. So World War III has the opportunity, and I've said this in the past, to take things that Battlefield has failed to do or that they're not doing. And one of those is esports. One of those is a competitive scene, guys. Competitive playlist, ranked playlist, league play, whatever you want to call it, guys. Having that in World War III, I believe, would really start building something special. Now, I've also said that I feel World War III, one of the other ways that it could really start competing against games like Battlefield would be making some game modes free to play. So let's just say, for example, it's currently $14.99 on Steam, guys. And so if you were to, obviously you can purchase it, but let's just say you decided that you wanted to go ahead and, play have that ranked playlist free to play. It's going to bring a lot of people in because they're at least going to try it out. And that's what I feel that the Farm 51 and my games need to do in order to really build more exposure around World War III. At this current juncture, it is not the COD killer. It is not going to be the Battlefield killer. However, at some point or another, now, it very well could be. I think if the developers and publishers really move in a direction where they continue to try to build upon what they've started here. Now, I'll give you another example of a game that's out there that is really disrupting the space in a pretty major way, and that's Escape from Tarkov. This is another title, guys. This came out about a year before World War III did, and we see what it's doing now. So could World War III be the next Escape from Tarkov? I think it certainly could. There's definitely a possibility there, but I think there's ways that it could definitely get there a little bit quicker. Or it could definitely start building a real culture around this title. I think that could definitely happen from not only just community members, but also people creating content around the game. Which I'm going to be creating my fair share of content around World War III, guys, because I do enjoy this title quite a bit, and I think that it's got a lot of potential. But other than that, there needs to be people creating content around it. There needs to be, people voicing their opinion to the developers and the publishers that you want certain things put into the game, like a ranked playlist or a league play or whatever it may be. And creating more game modes and things of that nature could really help World War III long term. Now, who knows what the long term, kind of vision for this game is at this point from the Farm 51 and my games, but I will tell you guys that I'm very excited to see where this title goes, and I think that it could capitalize on some things that EA hasn't done with Battlefield. Some things that obviously Call of Duty is getting wrong right now. I do believe Call of Duty is going to get it right at some point, but we look at a game like Halo Infinite, and wow, it's unbelievable. 343 knocked this thing out of the park so far, making it free to play, that being the multiplayer, and creating a real culture back around Halo. And now it's coming back up there. I mean, it was the big brother to Call of Duty for many years, and then Call of Duty surpassed it, and now Halo Infinite feels like it's starting to already gain on Call of Duty once again. Lots of people are moving from Call of Duty over to Halo. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening there. And so World War III, I think, is a title that can coexist with these other FPS titles, and it could really take an opportunity, I believe, out of the Battlefield book, but really kind of turn it upside down in a way in which, obviously a way that Battlefield never did, and that's really diving full blown into the competitive and the esports realm of that style shooter. But what do you guys think? Would you want to see World War III as a competitive esport? Do you think that it should just be what it is, guys, as a tactical online multiplayer first-person shooter game? Do you think it needs to be on consoles or just PC? What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more World War III content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. So the latest true crime title that we got, guys, in this series was released November 16th of 2005, and it was True Crime New York City. So we obviously have only had two, games in this franchise so far, that being Streets of LA and then New York City. And I gotta tell you guys, both of these titles are really special in a major way. I absolutely love these games. Now, sure, guys, Streets of LA was certainly the better of the two in my opinion, but I still felt like New York City was pretty awesome in a number of different ways. And with that being said, guys, I want to talk about, could this be the next title that gets a continuation of some sorts? And, guys, we always talk about this, but the two things that can continue a series or kill a series is, first off, the sales of a game, and then the second thing would be, of course, the reception around the title. And so when we look at the Streets of LA, which, of course, was the first game in the series, overall, the review scores were pretty good. I mean, on Metacritic, you're getting 77 out of 100. On PC, it got 68 out of 100. PS2 is 77 out of 100. Xbox, 77 out of 100. So that's pretty good. I mean, you would say definitely above average without question. And so that, if you look at that trajectory, pretty good. Now, True Crime New York City got a 59 out of 100. PC got a 54 out of 100, PS2 a 60 out of 100, and Xbox a 60 out of 100. So that's a little bit lower. I mean, not very slightly above average to say the least, but certainly not great. So if you look at Streets of LA, it definitely would, if we're going based on just the reception, Streets of LA definitely justified a sequel, but New York City didn't necessarily justify a sequel based on of course, like the review scores. Now, this main part of this, though, is the sales. So let's talk about the sales, guys. So Streets of LA was a commercial success. During its first 2 weeks on release in North America, it sold over 300,000 units across all platforms. By the end of its first month, it had sold over 600,000 units. Ultimately, the game went on to sell over 3 million units worldwide across all platforms. New York City did not sell well, falling considerably short of Activision's expectations and selling only 72,000 units in its first 2 weeks on release in North America. Now, why is this, guys? Well, a lot of it was probably because of the word of mouth. A lot of people just decided not to play New York City as much, or buy New York City at that point in time. There could have been a number of different reasons for it, guys, but if we go based on Streets of LA once again, I mean, it was a commercial success, so obviously it justified a sequel. New York City didn't sell well, so did it really justify another sequel based on the sales? No, it didn't. That being said, though, True Crime, I believe, would do very well as a remake, guys, in today's day and age. And I'm not talking so much New York City, I'm talking Streets of LA. If you took True Crime and you did a remake on it, I think it could be something pretty special. A lot of people would be, obviously needing to get reacclimated to this franchise because it's been dormant since 2005. But I still think that this is a title that Activision needs to bring back. I mean, obviously, we've talked about other titles out there, like the Prototype series. We want to see that come back. True Crime's another one of those, guys, from Activision. I would absolutely love to see come back because they were really onto something. A lot of people were comparing True Crime to Grand Theft Auto at the time, and I felt like this could have been something that was right there, up there with GTA, with Mafia, and titles of that nature. And it just really fell short with New York City, and they decided just to kind of leave it in a limbo state or a state of no return. So the big question is, will we get an announcement now in 2022? And so with Activision saying that they're going to continue making remakes, they stated this in 2021, and, moving into 2022 now, obviously, I think that there's a good possibility that True Crime could be a remake that they announce at some point. That being said, though, maybe they're going to be looking at other titles out there. Who knows? Instead of true crime, maybe they're thinking prototype. Maybe they're thinking something totally different. But I just think that they need to give this another chance. And I think if you say you did True Crime Streets of LA or the True Crime remake from the first game, I think obviously because that was a commercial success, they would see if there was still an audience of people that want to play true crime or at least try it out. And then that could maybe greenlight a whole new, series for the next generation of gaming in true crime. But it's going to be up to us guys as the community, voicing our opinion to the developers, voicing our opinion to the publisher, that being Activision, that, hey, we want a true crime remake made. We want this to come out at some point or another. And I think that, if enough of us do that, our voices can speak a lot louder than you realize, guys. I mean, I always bring up Dead Space. Dead Space was in a limbo state, a state of no return, and the voice of the community really spoke, and EA greenlit a Dead Space reboot, and that was absolutely incredible, because I never thought it was going to come back, guys, after the third Dead Space title, even though in my heart of hearts, I believe that we could really echo it into existence. I didn't know for sure if it was going to happen, and things looked, bleak at times, but it's happening. So the same thing can happen here with true crime. It really comes down to us as the community voicing our opinion. That being said, though, guys, do you think they'll make a true crime remake, or do you think they'll announce one here in 2022? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more true crime content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. For those of you who are accustomed to my YouTube channel, you guys know that Call of Duty is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love this franchise, and I wanted to talk, guys, in this segment of the show about the backlash that's going on right now. A lot of people speaking out against Call of Duty, or more so the Call of Duty esports, side of things in the Call of Duty League, and the issues going on within the game and with the developers and the publishers and all these different things. And I wanted to talk, guys, not so much about, the things that a lot of these other, big personalities on YouTube are talking about when they talk about, is COD dead at this point in time? I'll address that very slightly, but I want to talk more about the overarching, narrative here of Call of Duty. And I'm starting to see some similarities to, if we go back in time somewhat, I'm seeing some similarities to, what was going on back then, and when folks and a lot of people in the community were begging for change, we got change. And so I want to talk about that, guys, and really, I would love to have this as an open-ended conversation with all of you guys in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So, guys, just, briefly, I have been playing Call of Duty since COD 4, and, really didn't get into the multiplayer side of things until MW2. I played COD 4 played some of the multiplayer, but primarily got into it from the campaign perspective, then got into MW2, and MW2 and Black Ops 2 were my two favorite Call of Duties of all time. Absolutely love those titles. Now, in more recent years, some of these Call of Duties have been decent. I enjoyed Modern Warfare. Overall, the multiplayer was not amazing. I enjoyed it. The campaign I thought was the best campaign in all of Call of Duty to date. Black Ops 4 I really enjoyed. Overall, it's one of my favorite CODs out there, but it's still not quite MW2 Black Ops 2. It's still not up there in that echelon of Call of Duty titles. So it's been a while since we had a game in the Call of Duty franchise that has felt like it was up to par with Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 2. And I think some of the things, especially with Black Ops 2, which I'll talk about here specifically, it was just the entire support structure of this title. Hastro, guys, was obviously one of the guys who was behind, the esports scene in Black Ops 2. And, obviously he's, the owner of Envy, and now Optic Texas, being co-owners with Hex, is absolutely incredible. And he was a part of that. And so he was able to really help them from an esports perspective. And ever since then, we haven't had that. We haven't really had that support structure there. We've just had these guys who have really helped build this scene out, Hex and Optic FaZe and Envy and these teams. And so it just hasn't felt the same because we haven't had League play, or League play gets released way later after the game comes out. And being a competitive title, you just can't do those things, right? And so with all of that being said, and all of that out of the way, as far as is COD dead at this point in time, I mean, look, there's more people playing Warzone than they are playing Vanguard. I really enjoy Vanguard, but a lot of other people don't like it. I like the more slightly futuristic titles, or, modern to slightly futuristic titles. I think we've gone to the past way too much, and that's why, Vanguard maybe is stale for a lot of other people. I mean, for me, I actually enjoy it a lot more than World War II and some of these other titles that have come in the Call of Duty franchise in that era, but a lot of other people don't like it. There's still an audience here for Call of Duty. There's still a love for Call of Duty. There's still a massive fan base around Call of Duty. They're just playing Warzone, or, they're playing other games at this point in time like Halo Infinite. So obviously this backlash has probably just shaken, things to the core, so to speak, with Activision as well as, with the developers. And what this reminds me of, guys, is a time, we're going to go back to when there was a time period in which the transition from Xbox 360 to Xbox One was happening. And the game that was kind of in the middle of that was Call of Duty Ghosts. Call of Duty Ghosts, guys, was the title that kind of split up the community somewhat, because there were people who were getting the Xbox One, but other people stayed on the Xbox 360. And so it kind of split up that community. There wasn't crossplay back then. And what I'm getting at here is that Ghosts, even though I really enjoyed it, I've talked about on this YouTube channel how I believe Call of Duty Ghosts 2 needs to be made because of the, cliffhanger that was the campaign, one of the best campaigns in all of Call of Duty. Extinction, I think that they could really make an Extinction 2.0 a very interesting and different concept to what we get with zombies and Spec Ops. And the multiplayer, even though the multiplayer was definitely the weakest part of Call of Duty Ghosts, I thought they could build off of it and figure, what they did right, wrong, and what they could do different moving forward. All of that being said, though, it was Call of Duty Ghosts that got the Call of Duty community up in arms saying, we need change. And change really came, guys. In the following year, if you remember, we got Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And Advanced Warfare, guys, obviously was the jetpack era had started. Now, I was okay with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I enjoyed it for what it was overall. But I will tell you that I ended up going back to some of the other Call of Duties to play, Black Ops 2 and MW2. At that point in time. It felt like we had done that a little bit as it was. I enjoyed MW3, but we still went back to Black Ops 2 and MW2. I enjoyed Ghost for what it was, but we still kind of felt like we were going backwards somewhat. And then when Advanced Warfare came out, it was definitely different. It was fresh for a little while. And, it was different to watch the esports scene and all of that. I was okay with Advanced Warfare just being, one game, right? Like just being different and like them trying it. But no, they greenlit 2 other games in the jetpack era, that being Black Ops 3 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which I believe after Advanced Warfare, when we got to Black Ops 3, I believe the dark ages of COD started. And I felt like this was, I know there's a lot of people out there that liked Black Ops 3. I did put some time into Black Ops 3, don't get me wrong, but I just felt, guys, that it was turning way too much like into Titanfall. They were kind of copying what Titanfall was doing, and I just didn't like that. It didn't feel like Call of Duty to me. And it even felt even worse in Infinite Warfare. And then obviously it changed once we got to World War II, and things went back to boots on the ground. This leads me, guys, to I think that there could be massive changes coming once again. Now, could it be jetpacks again? I think it's very possible. I think that, now that we've got so much backlash once again from the community that people want change, or they want us to almost go back to what made COD so great in the first place, I'm wondering if this is going to shake Activision as well as the developers. And obviously it's been leaked that the next title in the Call of Duty franchise is going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like a Modern Warfare 2, like a continuation of what they did in 2019. Could that Call of Duty have jetpacks? I believe, guys, that there is a very good chance that we could be getting that now at this point in time. I think that it's very possible that we could be going back into the jetpack era. To me, guys, it doesn't feel like Call of Duty with jetpacks. Now, if they decided to do this, I would really like them to have certain game modes that have jetpacks, but then you could still play boots on the ground the traditional way. I feel like that could really kind of help out, like when it comes to playing different styles and such. And I think I would be way more open to that than just one way of playing, that being jetpacks. Because it always felt like it was tough to balance the jetpacks. Like, you know, it was either Advanced Warfare was so high up in the air, and then Infinite Warfare felt like it wasn't high enough. And then, you know, Black Ops was kind of like, you know, didn't really know what it was. And so it was just kind of one of those ordeals where the jetpacks, guys, just felt too much like Titanfall, so futuristic. But could we be going back to that? I think there's a very good chance of it. And we've heard other competitive players like Crim6 and these other guys who are saying, look, they would be totally down to go back to the jetpack era. So do I think that's a strong possibility? I do think it is, guys. I think it's a very huge possibility. Do I think we should go back to the jetpack era? I don't think so. I just think they need to make good games. I just think that, look, release a game that's finished, that's fully polished. Obviously, guys, when it's a game that comes out year over year and you only have a couple years to work on it, I understand that there's going to be issues with it, but it needs a competitive game has to be released with league play. It has to have certain things, guys, that are going to be specific to the esports scene. Like definitely needs more support in a major way. They need to be focusing definitely a full team over at Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer for just esports. The rest of that team can be working on creating new skins and things of that nature. I just think they need to split this thing up because I think that there's a real opportunity with the esports scene when it comes to skins, when it comes to all those things, like giving some of that money to the obviously the different franchises, from selling their own skins to creating a prize pool that could be something like Dota eventually, where some of that money goes to a prize pool year over year, and you could see that prize pool just grow and grow every single year. I just think, guys, that there's this real push with Activision to make Call of Duty more like the NFL or like the NBA, like a professional type of traditional sport. When Call of Duty was built on being like a WWE type of game, guys, in community. Like, you look at traditional sports and it's like, yeah, there's that, but this was built on trash talk. It was built on those narratives and storylines of like the trash talk, the players that didn't like each other, that were so fiercely competitive with one another. And it's not really an NFL or NBA style kind of thing. And if you try too hard to do that, you're losing touch with what it was built on. It's almost like if you were to try to take the Gears of War community and change that one. I mean, the trash talk is unbelievable in that. If you try to say that, look, this has to be more professional, you're going to lose a lot of the people that are following it because obviously it was built on that. You have to kind of stick to the roots of what has made your game and your esports so great in the first place. And I feel like that's where Call of Duty is failing right now. And I want to see it succeed. And so these are just my thoughts, guys, on it. Do I think that jetpacks are the answer? Really, guys? I don't think it's necessarily the answer. I really believe that the answer is just by making a really great game. Look at what you did in the past with Black Ops 2 and MW2. You have the blueprint right there with what you did with those titles. If you could replicate that in some capacity or another, having earnable items instead of payable items, having like items that you can earn, like the 10th Prestige Medallion. I mean, that was such a huge ordeal in MW2. Everyone was trying to get the 10th Prestige Medallion. It was creating, like, it created this huge, like, movement of modded lobbies and such, which obviously was a problem, but I'm just getting at, like, so many people wanted it, like those coveted items, guys, that people want. I just think that that's so important when it comes to within these titles. And with that being said, guys, I just think that Call of Duty is going to get it right, but I think all of us coming out about it and explaining and voicing our concerns and things of that nature is very, very important at the same time. I love Call of Duty, guys. I'm going to be continuing to play it, continue to try to support this, but at the same time, we have to be voicing our opinion to this thing and, you know, saying, look, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you can do better moving forward. And we as the community, there's things we're doing right, there's things we're doing wrong, and there's things that we need to be doing better moving forward as well. That being said, though, guys, do you think that we should head back into the jetpack era of Call of Duty? Or do you think we should stay as is and just try to replicate what the successes of like Black Ops 2 and MW2 was? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Call of Duty content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. Guys, I would love to connect with all of you, whether it's here on YouTube in the comment section down below or on one of the social media networks I'm on. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at @0_TV. The links are all in the description down below, but I would love to connect with all of you guys in one way, shape, or form, have real conversations with you guys about all the things that we love about gaming, esports, entertainment, and even movies, guys. If you guys are into movies, go to my second YouTube channel. It is in the description down below. Follow the link to 02, which is where you're going to see all of my movie-related content, guys, and I would love to have some conversations with you guys about the latest movies and TV shows and the future of movies and TV shows as well. Thanks again, guys, for watching. If you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show, be sure to leave a thumbs up, guys. That helps out the YouTube channel in a massive way. Subscribe if you're new so you can get notified every single time that we have a new video that goes up on the channel. With that subscription, guys, I appreciate all of you who are subscribing to the YouTube channel. Stay positive, just keep grinding, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.